sprang forth from stone. The people of Israel were free. When they grumbled for food, God sent manna from heaven to fill their bellies. Yet, as time passed, they still weren't satisfied. No miracle pleased them. No kindness changed their hearts. Yet God was faithful till the end. He sent a storm to blow through their camp. With the storm came thousands of quail, fresh meat, fresh strength. The crowd cheered. But Moses knew. He knew it was only a matter of time before the people turned against him.
God always provides for his people, but we often don't understand just how great his provision is. For example, in our story today, God sent bread from heaven. It was a miracle on the ground every single day. And yet, over time, the people began to complain about it. They're no longer thankful and grateful. They are even tired of the miracle. Then they began to romanticize their slavery. They remembered the food of Egypt and how it tasted so good, but they forgot about the whips and the chains and the oppression. That's what complaining does. That's what ingratitude does. It makes you long for the past instead of trusting in the God of the future. It causes us to forget about the faithfulness of God and to complain about our current condition. God was providing in ways they could have never comprehended, and yet they didn't receive it. What if God's provision doesn't look like what you expected? Will you trust him anyway? So God gave the children of Israel a miracle every single day. He sent bread from heaven, heavenly bread. And yet over time, the people were dissatisfied and they began to complain. They were no longer grateful for God's provision. Now, let that sink in. This was the hand of God feeding them, literally blessing them every day. But they began to think, this isn't enough. We want what we used to have. They thought back to their time in Egypt and all the slavery, but they were thinking they had good food there, and yet they forgot all about the oppression and the slavery and the chains and the beatings. You see, that's what complaining and ingratitude does in our lives. It makes us blind to what God is giving us, what God is providing for us. It makes us long for a past that really doesn't even exist. So here's what's happening beneath the surface in the story. God was providing for them in a way they couldn't really comprehend. They didn't know how long they were going to be in the desert. They didn't know how long the circumstances they were in would last. But they did know that they didn't like the bread. They didn't like what God provided. But this manna that God is providing on the ground every single day wasn't just food. In a way, this was all a big test. God was testing their trust in him. Would God's grace, would God's provision be enough? Would they trust God every single day? You see, God provides for us in ways we don't often expect, and sometimes we may not want. We ask for one thing and maybe God gives us something else. And when that happens, we have a choice. We can fail the test or pass the test. To pass the test is to trust in God. To fail the test is to complain about what we have and demand our own way. So trust God and pass the test. I'm Jack Graham from PowerPoint Ministries, and this is Pray.com's Bible in a Year. To access all the Bible in a Year content, download the Pray.com app today.
Thank you for supporting us. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel.